first things first. There are a lot of pieces with this sweater cape, and you'll know that if you just cut them all, as I just did. So it's imperative that you keep them together. Now, oftentimes when I am sewing with knit fabrics, I find that it is really challenging to actually mark my pattern pieces. My disappearing ink, pens kind of get sucked in, like all of the ink gets sucked into the fabric fibers. And then tailor's chalk just doesn't always show up because things are so bumpy or so, grainy. I have a lot of trouble with marking pattern pieces. So what I often do is I grab my Wonder Clips and I'll just kind of clip the pattern piece to the actual fabric piece that you cut, so they're kind of clipped together so that you don't lose them as you start sewing. Then when you start sewing, you can just unclip the two pieces together, but then you know which piece is which. So that just kind of helps me keep track of what I am doing. So I'm just gonna go through now, just put a quick clip in all of my pattern pieces here, so I can keep track of them and I don't have to mark them. I got my sleeves. They're kind of a weird shape, so I probably won't get confused and, try to use them elsewhere. It's really the bands that you want to make sure you keep track of what pieces they are, because the bands all kind of look the same, and it gets confusing. So like these side bands, yeah, we're gonna clip these babies to the pattern piece. And then we've got our little cuffies here for the sleeves if we're doing the optional sleeves. And then we've also got our front and we've got our back. So for the first part of this sew along, you're going to want to keep your front piece, your front main piece, and you're going to want to grab your front hemband, okay? So grab those two pattern pieces, and first things first, also keep your clips handy. You're gonna need your clips a lot for this. Okay, so I'm gonna just take that off because we know that's the front hemband. And now what we're going to do is fold our front hemband in half lengthwise. So that is the long part. And we want our wrong sides to go together. So this fabric that I'm using for this sew along is super easy to see the rights and the wrongs. The right is obviously this lovely leopard print, or this cheetah. I'm bad with animals. Better with fabric, so maybe I should just call it animal print. But anyway, the black side here is the wrong side, and the white side is the right side. So we're gonna put our wrongs together, and we're going to pin the long open edge here. So that's along this side. Once I've done that, I can just set that aside for a second and just make sure you have the front. I have the front right here. So I'm going to lay the front right side up, and I'm going to place the front hemband at the hem edge, just like so. And I'm going to clip all three of these pieces together. So they should all fit nicely, but the easiest way to do that with this long piece is to clip your outside edges first. So the two ends. Let's clip that. And then clip the center, and then go ahead and fill in the middle. Okay, once you've clipped everything, we are now going to serge, or we're going to stitch this bottom clipped seam at a 3/8 inch seam allowance. All right, so I have my serger all fired up and ready, and I'm going to be putting my front panel through my front piece along with the front hemband. So we're gonna serge this at a 3/8 inch seam allowance, or stitch it at a 3/8 inch seam allowance with a stretch stitch. When you serge, if this is the first time you're doing it, it's very important that you chain off. Chaining off is just to maintain your threading and everything, but that's why I left this long chain between the end of my stitching and the serger. So just clip that chain, and then what you'll want to do is take a big needle, thick needle, and weave the ends of this chain into the stitching that you did. The other thing you can do is you can always go back over just the end of your serging, chain off again. And it kind of sometimes leaves a jumbled looking serger stitch there. But that's another way that people frequently finish the ends of their serges, and that's to prevent the serging stitch from unlocking. So there are a ton of different ways to finish serging. You know, if you're zigzag stitching with your regular machine, then you're probably used to back stitching. So this is essentially what that is. You're just kind of serging over the end again, or tucking the little threads into the actual seam itself. After we have serged or sewn our front piece, you're gonna repeat this process for the back. So grab your back pattern piece. So just so you can see it, that is the back. And grab your back hemband piece, okay? Now we're gonna repeat exactly what we just did for the front. So we're gonna put the hemband together, wrong sides together lengthwise. Okay, and then let's lay open the back piece, and we are going to add the back hemband to the back piece as we did with the front. So it, like I said before, it's easiest to clip on the ends, I think. First, let's get everything lined up, and then go ahead and clip in the center. Okay, now that we've pinned or clipped this in place at the bottom, we're just going to run this through our serger, this seam, and we're gonna have, it will be all three layers through the serger or through our sewing machine, and then we'll move on. And now we're going to serge the back pieces together, the back and the back hems. I probably should have said this earlier, but if you have a cutting feature on your serger, you don't want to have that on right now. You want to just have it stitching. We're not looking to cut any seam allowance out of this.